Hello, Josh here again with you to show you another tutorial on how to use the Rep portal. In this tutorial, I'll be explaining how that all works, how to log into it, how to add orders and customers all from the back end. So first of all, let me show you how to get into it. First, you just go to AllisonsPantry.com. Hopefully you have that bookmarked. If you're unfamiliar with how to bookmark something, just Google it, and Google is a great resource to show things like that. Anyway, go to AllisonsPantry.com, scroll down to the very bottom, and click on the Rep portal. And when that comes up, I would again suggest that you bookmark that. You see I have a bookmark right here, right on the top, because you'll be going to this web page fairly often. You'll put in your email address and the password that you asked us to create. Vicky will request that information from you, and you can let her know the password that you want, and she'll get that set up for you. And then just hit login. And from here, you can see pretty much all the ordering that you're going to be doing for the current month. So here, these things on the top, they're all zero right now because it's a test account, but once you get going, they'll start populating. So this total earnings is going to be all of your commission when you start and ongoing. So this will just always put your total earnings from every single month. It'll always be right there. The total withdrawals, this will be how much you request to be withdrawn into your checking account. And the available balance is obviously how much you have available in the commissions. So this pending balance for last catalog, there is about a week or so where this page resets. It goes to the next catalog, and if you're unsure of how much commission that you were supposed to receive for that month, it will be right here in the pending balance. And then once we run all of the checks and credit cards, we will do a final calculation on the commission, and that will move over here into the available balance. Also, all the orders for the month will show up in this area. It says orders since last cutoff date. So all of your orders, whether they're canceled or abandoned or pending payment, they'll all show up in here every single month. So the status on those will show if a customer has an abandoned order. Basically, that is someone who has started the ordering process, added things to their cart, went to checkout, but then they never actually finished checking out. And so this order would actually show as an abandoned order because I never actually checked out. So it does keep track of that, so you can call those customers and ask them, what's going on? I saw that you had a cart. Is there anything I can do to help? Things like that. That's why they're displayed here. Also, you can click on the orders, and this will be every single order that you've ever done, whether it was abandoned, shipped. I have a lot of abandoned orders because it's a test account. It will show all of them. You can search very easily on what the customer's name is. So if I type in Josh, it shows all the orders that I've done. Again, there's a whole bunch because it's a test account, but very easy to search. You can also increase it to show 100 all at the same time. So you can see here there's 40 of them. I've done 40 orders. The next one is your customers. Inside here will be all of the customers. If you're as a brand new rep, this will probably be completely blank for you. When someone is new to the website and they register, and if they choose you as their representative, once they finish that order, they will show up as your customer. Customers cannot change reps by themselves. We have to do it on our side. And basically the reason we do that is just to make sure that there aren't any problems with customers and reps. So anyway, the way to create a customer is you click on the button Create Customer. You'll put in their first name, last name, email. You can fill out what gender they are, cell phone, phone number, any notes that you have. You'll want to create a password for them. It won't create the customer account if you don't. So then you want to put their billing address. And you want to have all this information filled out correctly. And I'll get to that in a little bit as far as the catalog mailings. Because if you have it incorrect, it will go to the wrong spot. You definitely don't want that. But when you're finished, you can hit Submit. So if there ever is a customer that just does not have a computer and does not have an email address, you can put their information in for them. And that's basically what this interface is for. It's for when the customers aren't able or don't want to do it themselves, which is just fine. But if you ever run into the situation where they don't have a computer or an email or anything, what you can do is put in the first initial of their first name and then their last name and use @allisonsreps.com. It is very important that you use that domain because we have purchased that domain and we have set up what's called a catch-all for the emails, because every single time that someone places an order, the system sends out an email confirming that the order has been placed. So if you just created a fake email that no one has, that will bounce, create a bounce for the system, and it's really bad for Allison's Pantry. The more bounces you get, the less relevant your domain is, and it starts getting marked as spam, and we do not want that. So if you ever do have something where they don't have an email address, just use this one, @allisonsreps.com. Please make sure that's correct and hit submit, and that will add your customer for you. So we'll go back into customers. Now you can see I have a customer 13. So this is also really easy to search. You can search by name, you can search by email address, you can search by phone number. Basically any category that you see you can search by. You can also download it to a CSV file by clicking that, and it'll open it up for you. You are able to place an order for them. You just simply click on customers and then click on their name, and then here you hit create order. So the customers can either put the orders in by themselves or you can do it for them, whatever works best for you. I do recommend, in fact I strongly recommend, that you make sure that they pay for them so you can create the order and everything. Click on that button. This basically logs you in as the customer, and if they sent you a list, you just click on the search button and you just type in the numbers there. So you can either click on the product to view it, but most people will just hit add to cart and then go to the next item, type that in, add to cart. So it goes fairly quickly if you do have a list. You are able to just click on the shop and use the categories, however you want to do that. You can edit the cart by changing the amounts, or if you added something accidentally, you just hit this red minus and it removes it. It'll refresh that. When you're finished, proceed to checkout. If you are putting the orders in for your customers, that you just ask them, well, how would you like to pay? E-check or credit card? It's really simple, and they would just give you their credit card over the phone. This is what it looks like. Just put in the card number, expiration date, and that CVV thing on the back, and hit submit payment, and you're good to go. You do have the option of using an e-check, which is an ACH. This is very similar to what you would see at just any retail store, is they run that check through the little, I don't know what you want to call it. You just run it through it. It has a bend, and then they actually give you your check back. All they're doing is recording the routing number and the account information and making sure that you have the money in there, and that's how they do it. And then they just give you the check back. So very similar. And here you just put in the routing number, account number, hit submit payment, and that's another easy way to go. One thing with Allison's Pantry is we do not charge the payment at this point. When you hit submit order, all we do is check to make sure there is money on the credit card or that the e-check is valid. We do not charge it because we haven't shipped the product yet. When we do run the payments, that is when we are shipping the product. We do that on a Friday generally. So on your order, it has a little order cutoff here. So 18 days, 8 hours, 54 minutes. That is the order cutoff, and that is a Monday night. And so that Friday, we will charge the credit cards and debit the checking accounts, whatever you've put in there. And so when you're checking out, the customer doesn't actually need to pay at that time, simply because, like right now, if you're putting in an order and your order cutoff isn't for another 18 days, you probably wouldn't want to have withdrawn immediately and wait that long to get your product. So that's why we do that. So that is how you do an order. When you do click on the name here, it'll show you as the sales rep because you're the one that has them in on your back end. One last thing I wanted to mention, if you do want to pay for this order yourself, which again, I really don't recommend that you do, but if for some reason that you did, you need to make sure that the billing address matches the credit card on file if you're going to pay with a credit card. So if you're going to put in this under your own credit card, you'll need to click on I want to use a new address, and you'll put in your information here. But don't worry, that won't change their address in the system. It will only add another address at the very bottom here that will be tied to this order. So just once again, make sure that whatever payment method you're using, that needs to be tied on here. So if it's yours, you put in your information. If it's theirs, then you put in their information. You're great. Next, I'll show you the withdrawals. So here, when you do have your commission, it will show as available balance. What you can do is one of two things. You can withdraw it as Allison's Pantry credit. Say we had $100 commission here in the available balance, and we wanted to assign ourselves $90 for next month when we ordered. So we find ourselves, put in our name, and then hit assign credit. And that will give us a credit of $90 to use the next time that we place an order. That's one way of doing it. And then you would have $10 left over. And what you could do with that $10, if you wanted to transfer it to your bank account, put that in and hit request transfer. What that will do is send an email to our accountant letting them know that you would like your commission transferred to your checking account or savings account, whichever one that you gave us in the ACH paperwork that I mentioned earlier. And that will usually take about 2 to 3 business days, depending on when you submitted it. Obviously, if it's over a weekend, it'll take a little longer, but we will transfer that into your bank account via ACH. So those are the two ways you can do that. Also, if you wanted, you could give your customers credit. So say my favorite is Tester McTestface. You can give him $2, get assigned credit, and that would reduce it from your available balance. If you wanted to give him like an incentive to order, or you're running a contest or something like that, that's the way that you can assign credits to your customers, and it will just show up in their customer account under the credit. So we have a few reports here. Click on that commissions report. This is going to tell you how much commission that you are going to receive, and you can do that by catalog. Because this is a test account, I don't really have anything, but if I did have something show up. One thing that you always want to remember to do is hit that filter button. So if we went from catalog 10 to catalog 11, you always hit filter, and that will refresh the page basically. So just simply by clicking on that, it doesn't do anything until you hit filter. Reports. Also, when you do click on reports, it opens it up in a new tab. Make sure you're familiar with that. So download all invoices since last cutoff. This is how you print your invoices for your customers. So you would choose your cutoff date. I'm currently in catalog 10. And you hit filter. Remember to hit filter, it's in the instructions. Then you would download that report. So these invoices are going to be by customer alphabetically, and if the customer has more than one, they'll have 2 invoices. I only have 2 for the same person, but they will be together. The color scheme on that, you'd notice that this one, it is a dry item, and we have that kind of a pale yellow color, and that is just to differentiate whether they are frozen, which is kind of just this blank or white. The dry, pale yellow, and cooler is light blue. I don't have one to show you. It is there, believe me. So you can choose which catalog you want to print your invoices for fairly easily. Just make sure that you hit filter. If not, nothing will display. I'm going to close that, go back to the other reports. There's a customer report. Shows all of your customers, their phone number, address, and everything. You can download that to either a PDF or a CSV. CSV is Excel if you have that. If not, just use a PDF. It will download that way. So you can use that if you're wanting to email everybody or call them, however you wanted to use that report. And this is the same search functionality as everything else. You could type in a zip code, a state, a city, address, however you want, and they'll come up the way that you want them to. So the pending check requests, this is if you have requested something in the withdrawals. So whenever you request us to basically pay your commission to you in your checking account, that will show up here. Ordering versus non-ordering customers. This is kind of a nice report that you'll want to refer to often. You do it by catalog and hit filter. And this is going to tell you who has placed an order and then who has not placed an order. So all these customers of mine have not placed an order. And the only one is good old Joe Pantry. He's placed 2 orders. This is very helpful to be able to call the customers who haven't, or to email them, text them, however you wanted to get a hold of them. And if you remember in the previous video, just keep reminding them until you either receive the order or they just say no thank you, Most people really appreciate a reminder, especially in today's busy world. You hear that all the time. Oh, I'm so busy. And they appreciate you calling and reminding them. So just very, very helpful to know who has and who hasn't ordered for a particular catalog. And that's also available for history. So everyone who ordered in catalog 10, it will stay there. So then the next month you can see catalog 11. But if you're wondering on the last month, you can still pull that up. So then the last one, customers active within the last 6 months. This is going to show you everyone who has placed an order within the last 6 months and also who is subscribed for the catalogs. And I'll get into that in just a second. So if they're active within the last 6 months, they'll show up here. We are going to be changing the report to show all of your customers in here. It just hasn't happened yet. So it's just a really helpful report, letting you know who might need a little nudge. So nice little report. You can download that, PDF, CSV, same search functionality and number of people you want to view. You can also click on any of these headers to sort it differently. Every single time you see these little up or down arrows, that means that you can sort it however you'd like, and it will sort it alphabetically or numerically. So that's everything with the reports. Next one is your profile. This is what we have. You can change your password here. It doesn't display right here, but if you did want to change it, you just type what you want it to be and hit submit, and that will be your password for when you log into the rep portal. I do have to mention that you have your rep account here, and also you will have a customer account. Probably the first thing you want to do is just create a customer account with your information in it, and that will be, it could be the same email address, and you can do the same password or a different password, but there is 2 accounts. I just want to have you understand that. So logging into the rep seller portal and into the main website, they are 2 separate accounts, but for reps, they can be the same email address and password, or they could be different, just it's depending on what you want. I would just recommend the same email and same password. That is your profile. And also here is the address, and this is what will show up in the rep finder. So you'll want to put in your correct address. I'll have all that information in there. If you do change this, please let us know, because we do have the delivery directions for the truck driver. This is the address that they will see, as well as any customers. So this is just the store. This just opens up another tab to shop. And this last one, mailed catalogs. This is going to display all of your customers. This is that service that I was going over in a previous tutorial, explaining that we do send out catalogs as a service for reps. We send them out bulk mail. It's 50 cents a piece. And the way that you basically tell us that you want it is you put a check mark in whatever customer that you would like us to mail it out to. You can kind of pick and choose however you want. And when you're done, you hit save. From this point on, all of these customers will get a catalog mailed out to them every single month. You don't need to update this unless you want to remove them from the list. You just uncheck it, hit save. You can put a check mark in all of them, hit save, whatever you want to do. But the way that the catalogs work is you get 1 catalog for every customer who's ordered within the last 6 months. So say we had 30 customers order within the last 6 months. So basically you're entitled to 30 catalogs now. We also give you an extra 10 just to have on hand for new customers. So you would get 40 catalogs. But then you decided, well, I'm going to mail some out to my customers. So these 10 customers, I want to have Allison's Pantry mail these ones, and the rest of them I would like delivered on the truck. So what will happen is you will get 30 on the truck, and we will mail these 10. If you ever did get to the point where you wanted just all of your customers mailed, you would just select this. That is just fine. You can have as many of them go out as you want. Just remember that you need to maintain this list and keep it updated before the deadline is for the catalog mailing. So that is everything in the back end for the representatives. So if you do have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to either text or email Allison's Pantry rep support. Vicki is great. She answers fairly quickly. And also, if she's not available, the email address and the text message program is shared among everyone here at the office, so we can answer them even if she's not around or on vacation or something like that. We're here to help you in any way that you need. So thanks for bearing with me through these tutorials, and we hope to hear from you soon.